Welcome to Tzu Chi This Week. I'm Terry Poo. It's good to have you with us. Coming up in this week's top stories, Tzu Chi volunteers bring their condolences to fire survivors in Taiwan's central and southern regions. In Malaysia's Penang, Tzu Chi volunteers conduct home visitations to care for New Shoot Scholarship recipients and their families. Tzu Chi volunteers organized their first ever training seminar for 96 English-speaking volunteers at the Tzu Chi US Headquarters in San Dimas. First up in Taiwan, as mercury continues to soar and people are cranking up their air conditioning, it is important to keep a watchful eye on your home or office's electrical system, which might overload and lead to a fire. We have reports of several blazes in Taiwan. One was in a refrigeration plant in Kaohsiung, another was in Nantou, where 4 homes were burned down. Finally, a TV caught on fire in Huatan, Zhanghua, claimed the life of 1 man. No matter which blaze, Tzu Chi volunteers were there to show their support.
In less than 10 minutes, a 3-story home in Huatan, Zhanghua nearly burnt down. The origin of the blaze was the TV in the living room on the first floor. When the owner went out for help, things took a tragic turn.
When I came home, I saw my TV was on fire, and my good friend, maybe he didn't think it was that serious, so he ran upstairs.
The owner's friend, who was inside the home, decided to take shelter on the 2nd floor, but suffered from smoke inhalation. By the time he was rescued and taken to a hospital, it was already too late. Upon hearing the news, the victim's wife ran to the hospital. Tzu Chi volunteers also came to show their support.
She hasn't had a drop of water since 11 o'clock this morning, so we brought her a bottle of water and told her to contact us if she needs anything in the future.
The volunteers continue to help bereaved family members cope with the tragedy. Another fire earlier last week damaged 4 homes in Caotun, Nantou. Residents, who are mostly elderly, were shocked by the disaster.
By the time the fire trucks got here, the blaze had already burned its way through here. Because of the wooden roof, the fire spread quicker.
The fire occurred after 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and by 6:30, 11 volunteers were on site to show their support.
The silver lining is no one got injured. Things happen, so try to let it go. Here's our blessing.
We came at the first notice to bring them Tzu Chi's compassion and support. The Master wants us to bring our community closer together.
One of the volunteers lives right within this community, and seeing her neighbors in need, she sprang into action.
Their children all have jobs and homes, though some rent. They will move in with their children, which puts us at ease.
Thank you, Tzu Chi volunteers, for your support and consolation cash. Thank you very much.
Through cultivating good affinity with the residents, volunteers hope to bring about a harmonious atmosphere in their community. Meanwhile, a refrigeration plant in Kaohsiung was also left engulfed in flames. The sound of the fire and debris falling has everyone on the edge of their seats. Nearly 200 firefighters have been dispatched to fight the blaze that broke out at 8 in the evening.
The area is quite big. It's nearly 2,000 square meters. Now that is a big area to cover. We were afraid the building would collapse.
The plant was filled with equipment and materials which fueled the fire. As the sheet metal structure could collapse at any time, firefighters could only try to contain the blaze from the outside, which eventually took 4 hours.
We have prepared some beverages while our brothers and sisters prepared some buns and milk for the emergency responders.
To show their support, Tzu Chi volunteers have brought beverage and food for the firefighters to replenish their energy levels. Thankfully, no one was injured in the disaster. However, volunteers will continue to keep a watchful eye and be ready to offer their services when needed.
Next, in China's Fujian province, Xiamen Tzu Chi volunteers visited Grandma Cai Xiuye, who lives alone in her dilapidated house. Having been bedridden for 3 years, Grandma Cai can barely look after herself. Upon seeing the senior's filthy living environment, Tzu Chi volunteers immediately began to clean up the house on the senior's behalf. Volunteers enter a dilapidated house only to see a fragile senior sleeping on the ground. This is 88-year-old Grandma Cai Xiuye, who has been bedridden for the past 3 years. The mattress she sleeps upon has a stench of urine. Next to her rice is scattered on the ground, and a water bottle lies by her side. Not wanting to be a burden for her son and daughter-in-law, Grandma Cai refused to move into the new house with her children.
Mom, come up here and sleep on the bed. I've made the bed for you.
Later, the volunteers give the mattress a thorough scrub. One middle school teacher who was moved by Tzu Chi's help for her students also shows up to help out.
Compared to the less fortunate, my own life is much better, so I should cherish my own blessing. There are too many things in life that I should be grateful for.
Ye Zhenxiong, a business owner, volunteers to watch the grandma's pillow.
It seems that the grandma's house has been neglected for a long time. Her pillow is too dirty to use. If I were her, I would feel uncomfortable too. She needs our help.
Mopping the floor is Wei Zhiyi, a chief officer of a cruise ship who makes the most of his holidays to join the volunteering work.
The grandma lives in such a terrible environment. I believe in China there are countless people like her, living in even worse conditions. I know I should do something on their behalf.
Not only helping the senior clean up her house, Tzu Chi volunteers also give the senior a shower and change her clothes. Refreshed and revitalized, the grandma breaks into a smile.
Look how lovely you are when you smile.
In Malaysia's Penang, Tzu Chi volunteers of the Georgetown Tzu Chi Academy are currently conducting home visitations for New Shoot Scholarship recipients. Parents and students from the academy also accompany the volunteers. Through interactions with scholarship recipients, both parents and students saw how fortunate they were when compared to the disadvantaged.
Living in a quaint rented home, single mother Zarina and her 7-year-old daughter Wazini don't often get visitors. However, on this day, much laughter and joy can be heard coming through their doors.
When the students see how scholarship students live, they can compare that with their own lives, and this will inspire compassion within their hearts.
Although it's their first encounter, the students from Tzu Chi Academy quickly come to see Wazini as their little sister.
I give her 3 ringgits a day, and by mid-month, she will have saved up 30 ringgits. She's very frugal.
As they get to know each other, the 7-year-old's maturity has given the visitors a new perspective.
Compared to her situation, I feel very fortunate.
I don't even know what I was up to at the age of 7. I have immense respect for them and at the same time feel extremely blessed. From now on, I won't ask my parents for things.
Not only have the children gained wisdom, but their parents as well.
说跟他孩子。
Comparing my children with her child makes me realize how lucky we really are.
他让我们觉得我们实在太幸福了。
Learning valuable lessons during this home visitation, parents and children learn to count their blessings and find a new perspective on life.
In Malaysia, upon receiving the certificate of completion in May, landscaping projects for the Kuala Lumpur Jing Si Hall can finally begin. A design team from Taiwan led by Chen Lingyong has been assigned with the landscaping of the hall. Not only were the trees that were chosen suitable for the local climate, but will also protect the entire architecture as well.
Tzu Chi's Jing Si Hall is a popular landmark in Kuala Lumpur. A green landscape can add to the symbiosis between architecture and nature. With 20 years of experience, Taiwanese landscape designer and Tzu Chi volunteer Chen Lingyong is here to make that happen.
Our Jing Si Hall is everlasting, therefore the trees we bring in should also be everlasting. For example, pine and cypress, because they are evergreen.
If the water drains properly, the tree's lifespan can last thousands to tens of thousands of years, since they are considered to be ancient tree species.
We feel that these type of trees can complement and add to the beauty of our Jing Si Hall.
The landscape adopts a natural and harmonious design. The Xiamen statue lights up the hearts of those who visit. Trees have been specifically chosen to protect the architecture as well.
One of its characteristics is that it won't damage the structure or the ditch. It has an aerial root, and we often hear that trees produce the oxygen we need, and also negative ions. These trees produce 3 times more than the average tree.
A group of 7 volunteers from Taiwan were invited to carry out the landscaping project of the Jing Si Hall. Witnessing the accumulation of love that grows out of the spiritual landmark was the volunteers' most precious reward.
One grandma who suffers from leprosy had a tree which she could have sold for 1,000 to 2,000 ringgit, but she didn't want to sell it. Instead, she gave it to Tzu Chi as a gift. These seniors are actually not very well off, yet they have always been so supportive of Tzu Chi. We have been interacting with them for more than 10 years now.
Each flower and each tree is the accumulation of love of local residents. They are also symbolic of the flourishing of Tzu Chi in Malaysia over the past 20 years.
In the United States, Tzu Chi volunteers recently held their first ever English resource and training retreat at the Tzu Chi US Headquarters in San Dimas. The event was joined by 96 English-speaking volunteers from 8 different Tzu Chi chapters across the country.
At the Tzu Chi US Headquarters in San Dimas, 96 English-speaking volunteers from 8 different Tzu Chi chapters across the United States are here to attend the first annual English Resource and Training Retreat.
This is the first time that English resource teams and trainees from around the country have come to connect to master in English. The purpose of our event is to show people what we have available in Tzu Chi for English-only speakers.
I've been hearing some Taiwanese songs, so now you get an American song. Sometime in our life, we all have pain, we all have sorrow. First time in my 4 years as a volunteer that I've heard more than 1 hour of English at a time.
4 months ago, Ted Chen, who immigrated to the United States at a young age, joined the Buddhist NGO. To encourage more people to practice recycling, Ted shares with everyone what recycling volunteers in Taiwan have been doing to safeguard our planet.
I'm hoping to bridge the gap between the Chinese volunteers and bringing in more English-speaking volunteers.
Can you stand up and show everybody? That's a bundle of chopsticks, and that's a Tzu Chi family. We work together. You're not working alone.
Our MCs, Xiamen and Martina! Whoa! Language difficulties or differences should not be what decides who get access to Master's teaching.
The voice of the ox cart song.
Bridging the language gap is the first crucial step in order to really bring Tzu Chi to the US.
After 4 months of preparation, English-speaking volunteers from across the country can finally gather together to learn more about the Tzu Chi Foundation. Meanwhile, prior to the end of the 3-day seminar, volunteers rehearsed for the closing ceremony. Among the volunteers is Lori Ostrander, who lost everything following a fire in 2012. Thankfully, with Tzu Chi's help, she has discovered a new meaning to her life.
Tzu Chi has helped those in a time of need. Coming together to make a difference in the life of another. That is Tzu Chi.
Also among those inspired by Tzu Chi is Linda Hernandez. Her smile and positive attitude has encouraged those attending the seminar to be steadfast as they walk the Tzu Chi path.
I've learned a lot from everybody here. Everybody has given me a gift, and I've learned from that. And I'm very grateful, and I'm glad to serve my community.
Just like the lyrics of the song Pull the Ox Cart, the best gift of life is to be able to give selflessly.
Giving is getting, and less is more for yourself.
Regardless of race or language, Tzu Chi has the power to bring people together in the name of good. And in the years to come, these U.S. volunteers will continue to spread Tzu Chi's teachings of love and humanity.
Under the leadership of their seniors, Tzu Chi volunteers in Ho Chi Minh City and Binh Dong Province gathered after each workday to watch the Master's Dharma lectures. Although many of the local volunteers do not understand Chinese, through translation, however, many are able to understand Master Zheng Yan's words of wisdom.
Some 20 volunteers are crammed inside this 10 square meter space to watch the Master's Dharma lecture. Volunteers thoughtfully organized the study group at volunteer Cai Xiaohua's home as she is still in the mourning for her deceased father.
Although our house is very small and cramped, everyone still managed to overcome the limited space. Thank you for caring for us and supporting us through this time. Caring for Dharma family members while also cultivating their wisdom. This is a commitment volunteers have upheld since the Lunar New Year. Although many don't understand Chinese, the thought of giving up, however, never crossed their minds.
Listening to the Master's teachings during this time, I've gained useful insights that can be applied in my daily life. Today, the Master talked about the fulfillment of faith. I feel that cultivation on the Bodhisattva path takes such courage and faith.
After listening to the Master's morning lecture, senior Tzu Chi volunteer Cai Xiaohua lead participants in a group discussion to encourage everyone to actualize the Master's Dharma in their daily lives.
Of the 6 fulfillments, the fulfillment of faith is the most important on the path of cultivation. After hearing the Master's morning lecture, I deeply feel that we shouldn't let our pride and arrogance cloud our innate Buddha nature.
It's not easy to remain diligent and resolute, so we need to keep the Master's Dharma close to our hearts, translate it into action, and constantly reflect within to see if we are actualizing the Dharma.
Meanwhile, Taiwanese entrepreneurs in Binh Dong Province, who, despite their ordeal in the recent anti-Chinese riots, continue to follow in the Master's footsteps. At their recent Water Repentance Sutra study group and prayer session, they hope to garner more compassion and spread this goodness throughout Vietnam.
Recently, teachers from Taiwan's Tzu Chi Teachers Association went to China's Guangzhou and Tianjin to share with their counterparts how to integrate Jing's aphorisms into their classes, while also giving these teachers a chance to experience Tzu Chi's education of love and compassion. Teachers from Taiwan incorporate Jing's aphorisms into a game and share it with their counterparts in China. A paper cutting game helps participants realize how people often think differently.
Everyone cuts the paper at different angles, even though we all heard the same instruction. It shows how people's thinking can be so different.
Even though you might try to adhere to your own way of doing things, there may be another that forces you to do things in a different way.
Taiwan's Tzu Chi Teachers Association is here in Tianjin to share the instruction of Jing's aphorisms with their counterparts in China at a parent-child class.
It's a great opportunity where not only parents and children, but also teachers can exchange ideas with one another.
Meanwhile, in Guangzhou, teachers from local schools come to join Tzu Chi's education workshop.
We should be patient when teaching our students. Don't press them to grow up.
Retired teacher Li Meijing is also there to share tips with teachers at the workshop.
When your students are crying, you have to always remember their good side and show them your love and care. If you are able to discover goodness in children, you will naturally learn how to give them encouragement. When children know their teachers love them, they will naturally listen to them.
With Tzu Chi's unremitting effort, education filled with love and compassion is taken root both in Taiwan and China. A group of 106 students from Tainan's Tzu Chi Senior High School has put their summer vacation to good use by visiting the Jing Si board in Hualien to get in touch with the Tzu Chi spirit. Through the visit and having witnessed the Dharma Master's daily work, the students came to realize how they too can live a simple life back at home.
You need to light it so you can walk the enlightened path. One should not take part in doing the wrong things, but remain steadfast on the right path to the end. Our life's greatest strength is to do the right thing in the right way. This is what Master Zheng Yan advocates.
Listening to Dharma Master Do Nian's lesson on life, the students from Tainan Tzu Chi Senior High come to understand the work ethic of no work, no food.
By observing the Master Dharmas at work, the students can come to understand that our life and our life's worth should be put to good use.
Walking within the Jing Si abode, lessons on environmental protection and loving all creatures big and small are taught.
Practice recycling at home, conserve our natural resources, and reduce carbon emissions.
Getting a taste of the simple life has given this group of students a meaningful beginning to their summer break as they walk away spiritually fulfilled for the days ahead.
At the end of the show, we stay in Taiwan but go to the Tzu Chi Neihu grounds to meet a group of dedicated volunteers who worked around the clock to make 20,000 eco-friendly blankets for the residents in South Africa and Zimbabwe, helping them brave the cold winter ahead. We will leave you with these images. Thank you for watching Tzu Chi this week. Goodbye.